Hello guys, and welcome back again for another Wilds with Rain standard deck tech as we explore this new set. And for this weekend is already the pre-release of this awesome return to the plane of Eldraine. And for a deck that we can sort of explore is more of the reanimating strategy, but with a new kind of approach. So we can check this one as a John Lich-Knights Contest. I got this idea from one of the submitted lists, probably on Reddit, for the standard deck text. And so let us explore what the namesake goes with this card. So this card is called this Lich-Knights Conquest. It is a 5-cost sorcery rare. So this version is that of the bundle, that is the Wilds with Rain bundle foil print, and that its ability that sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens, return that many creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is not only on a one-time reanimating effect that targets only one creature card, but it will also depend on the number of artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens that was sacrificed as you resolve this spell. So this now goes with how we could build this kind of list, and we have some reference suggestions here, and I did some own tweaks or adjustments. So we're going to go ahead with this build. So we have 4 non-creature artifacts, we have 15 creatures including this one, 2 artifact creatures, we have 8 enchantments, 4 instants, 5 sorceries, and 24 lands at our disposal. So what do we go with how we can satisfy this condition, wherein you would need to have these artifacts, enchantments, and tokens in this ability. So in this setup, you can notice here that we have 8 enchantments. So these are not only would suffice us to discarding these creatures in the graveyard, but also have a way that we can be able to sacrifice them later on for the Lich-Knights Conquest requirement. So let us go first with this artifact. This is what they call the Collector's Bolt. This is from the new set. It's a 2-cast any color artifact, or that means artifacts per se. That's his ability that you can pay 2 to tap, draw a card, and discard a card, and then create treasure token. So again, that treasure token can basically be used as a ramp, or also can be used to sacrifice for the Lich Conquest requirement. So in a way that also you can draw a card, you can draw for your sorcery or your needed spells, then discard your creatures that you would need to reanimate later on. Now for the creatures, where it is called this one as the lineup. So we have the 4 obs of the main creature that we can have a benefit from. So again, first off is the Atraxa Grand Unifier. So you know this is basically the best card to reanimate in this deck, because its ability that only gets a huge body that can fly, vigilant, death touch, and lifelink, but also gets you to refill your hand. So that's along with it are 4 copies of this card. We have again the Return of the Titan of Industry. This is from Streets of New Capena. It also goes well that you can reanimate it and having this value that you can choose as you go with how you would interact with your board or your opponent's board with its ETB effects. So you can either destroy artifact or enchantment, gain 5 life, you can create a 4/4 green rhino acquired creature token, or put a shield counter on a creature you control. So along with it, we have some few 1-ops or 2-ops that can become a utility per se. So we have here the Terranax Rex. So this is more of a root that can go with just an 8/8 Trampler and then haste and effect, and can win by having your opponents get poison counters with Toxic 4. So given that it is also a non-legendary creature, which means that in any instance you can return 2 of them, you can basically attack with 2 8/8s with that can basically be very hard to deal with because of the ward and also Trampler. So champ blocking would be really not an option for your opponent. So with that, we also have a copy of Italy Primal Conqueror. This also goes with the ability that comes to play to exile cards from your top, your library, and your also that your opponent, and then playing them for free for the setup. So along with that one is a copy of Shieldred. So this also goes with an ATB effect that can kill off a non-talking creature or planeswalker your opponent's control. So what's next now is a copy of Growth Triplets. So this is now a new card from Wilds with Rain. So this ability that comes to play that can create two token counters or copies of it. So this is also one of the previously featured deck in my channel, wherein whenever it dies, put a counter on some counter equal to the power of each creature you control named draft triplets. So those, well, that can divide into 266 and then later on 199, as well as how you could interact with this. So this is one of your animation options wherein you will need to have your situations wherein you can gum up your board with these draft triplets and its respective tokens. Now, one of the other way that there's not a reanimation target, but instead more of the discard effect and also letting you have a sacrifice outlet for an artifact, since this is an artifact creature, is 2 copies of Scrapwork Moth. So that only that can becomes a 2-drop 2/1. You may discard a card if you do draw a card, but also it goes with the Unearth, wherein you can pay 1 in red to return this from graveyard to the battlefield, and then also have this effect to discard a card and then draw a card, and then use this one as a fodder to the Lich Conquest. Now for the enchantments again, mentioned that this is not only for sacrificing but also Sword of Vitality enchantment and cards that can discard creature cards to your graveyard. So we have 4 copies of Bitter Reunion. It goes with that to discard a card and draw 2 cards and then sacrifice 1 to have your creatures gain haste. So there are also instances that you can use this as to the way that whenever you reanimated all your target creatures, then you can also use your extra Bitter Reunion to pay 1 to have them haste and basically win from there. And one of the new cards that's also considered is 2 copies of the Witch's Vanity. So this is just uncommon Saga enchantment. It has this ability though that which really benefits you to have these cards, such as creating this food token as a fodder later on, but also having a spot removal effect that can destroy creature and opponent controls with mana value 2 or less. And at the same time, you can create a Wicked Roll token to target creature you control and use that token basically as again a fodder to the Lich's Conquest. Now that with the 2 copies, we also have a 1 copy of the Cruelty of Geeks. Again, option for you to reanimate a certain card or use this one to search library for a card and then use that. For instance, the best card to search here is the Lich Conquest, and then use it to cast to reanimate all of your good target creatures. So in a way, we need to be very adjusting in terms of what certain situations or your opponents might get. And last but not least, for the enchantments is Virtue of Persistence. This ability that become an adventure wherein you can lock Twain Scorn to cast sorcery. This target creature gets -3/-3 and you will gain 2 life. And then have this one as enchantment later on. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under your control. So that is a constant reanimating effect in case that there are situations that you can go a long game against maybe a mid-range or a control opponent. That's basically your option here. And for in the instance, we have 4 copies of the Big Score. It's also a way to discard creature cards to your graveyard, and then creating these 2 treasure tokens would also help you as for the purpose of fodder for the Lich-Knights contents. And last for the sorcery, aside from the reanimating spell, is a copy of Branko's Prank. I decided to add this one because of this multi-purpose to not only have you to discard your targeted creatures for reanimation, but also have your opponents discard your cards, wherein you can have likely chances to have an open situation wherein you can discard your best creatures or maybe your removal against your reanimated creatures, or you can also remove them or their board by sacrificing 2 of their creatures at their disposal, wherein you can still benefit from this effect. So that is also for the situational setup, but we need to be really wary or adjusted to how this particular expected matchups in the standard metagame that you can have against this deck. And last but not least, our lands. So we are basically going with the basics. We have 3 mana fix because it's June color, so we have Jatura's Proving Ground. We have some channel lands with the Takenuma Abandoned Mire, the only channel land I've considered. And we also considered these pain lands with Sulphur Springs, Llanowar Waste here, and also the check lands, Clouded Ridge, the Flat Blade, along with the Blackleaf Cliffs as the best 1-drop land for this deck. of the John colors. And last but not the least, we check the mana value. It's going big with the 4.56 average, so you can basically curve out well, but you need to be able to stabilize the board early before you can get your animation by turn 5, since the Lich Conquest is basically 5 mana cost. And the color distribution, we have an even of black and green. That's more of the green with 25, black is 19 with red as 10, but the color producer is pretty much also aligned with those setup. And last but not least, our tokens: food token, rhino warrior, and treasure token. And I think that's pretty much it for this deck tech. We have again John Lich-Knights Conquest, the Reanimator deck for its Wilds of Eldraine standard. And if you've faced or planning to build a similar deck strategy, let's let me know in the comments below. What would you think or prefer as to you would have this setup? Would also vary, and we can be also open for changes and other upgrades if needed. And of course, we can decide our sideboards later on as we progress on this list as for the future videos. Again, guys, thank you for checking this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe. We can have more of these similar topics in the near future, so stay tuned for the channel on that one. Again, guys, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.